Let's focus on the title race and victories for both Arsenal and Manchester City yesterday. Let's start with Arsenal. An interesting piece in The Observer. Rory Smith, his piece says, Arsenal's title yearning is taking on an even more desperate quality. Overreaction to any point dropped or an ill-deserved win makes it harder to keep perspective. Julian, is this going to be the biggest challenge, aside of someone like Manchester City, for Arsenal, just to try and shut down the noise?
Yeah, in a way, I think so. But I don't think this is a problem. I don't think this is unusual to start with. I'm not sure it's a problem. Of course, you're going to be a bit nervous because they want to win this title so badly. They came so close. It's been a very long time since Arsenal haven't won the title. They have the best squad in the league. They have a world-class manager. They have some really good leaders. The atmosphere is great at the Emirates for most of the games. They created something very special at the club, so it's the time now. So, of course, because of that, because of those expectations, the pressure is on you. Everybody says you're the favourite because you're the best. Everybody tips you to win it. So it comes with pressure, for sure. So sometimes that pressure, you deal with it in a different way. Then maybe City and Guardiola, who surely more used to it, have won more, all of that, I guess. But then you see the game against Everton and that performance where they were, for the first time in 6 weeks, not leading the league. They were under pressure, they had to respond, and I thought they did really well. And yeah, maybe too much control at times, especially in that first half. But some of the football they played in the second half was outstanding. And really, they could have won this game 3-0. They gave nothing away to Everton, who I don't remember have any sort of chance. OK, the penalty shot from Saliba and Barry is a different one. But in terms of creating chances from Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, there was not much. So I thought that was a very good evening from Arsenal.
Good evening for Arsenal. Dom, is there an issue, though, with the noise and the pressure that surrounds the club?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I was with a friend of mine yesterday at Ascot in between races, and he was he got his phone out, and the first thing he went, "Oh, Man City are winning, Man City are winning, and we've got to go to Everton tonight." And you can sing, you're like, "It's going to be fine. It's, you know, you calm down." It's like, you know, it's not even Christmas Day yet. But if they never win it now, if they don't win it this season, they're not going to win it. They've got the best squad. They've got the most options. They're getting through. They've had a little. Can we even call it a sticky patch? Can we even call losing an Aston Villa team who've been in unbelievable form? Can we say that's a bad thing? No, it happens. It's football. It's a football match. It's there for them to go and do it. It's you know, that was a tough night for them, and they got through it with very, very professionally. And I loved watching Bukayo Saka last night. I think Jamie Carragher was talking at the beginning of the season about Gabriel potentially being player of the season, but I think Arsenal are going to get over the line. Saka's going to be the reason. He's fabulous. He's everything about him. Movement, the speed, the link up that he's got with Timber down the right-hand side. It's just all there for them to go and do it.
Martin, Dom says it's not even Christmas Day yet, but the back page of The Sun have used a Christmas pun, Jingle Bell Jock. I see what they've done there. Yeah. The records will show that Viktor Gyokeres did score the winner, but there seems to be so much conjecture around whether he's the right guy to be leading the Arsenal attack. Is that a problem that Arteta's yet to solve?
Well, no, I don't think. Look, they're top of the league, so, you know, if it stays, you know, win all your games and you win the league, and, you know, he solved all the problems so far. They're top of the league, the domestic league, they're top of the Champions League table as well. So he couldn't do any better. You know, he really could not do any better. So I don't think it's a problem. I'm not entirely convinced by Gyokeres. I thought it was good that he took the penalty yesterday. I thought it was good that, you know, because
it was a good penalty as well.
It was a good, but he blasted it. I think if you pause it as it's crossing the line, it's not the penalty that everyone thinks it is, because it's not over in the corner. You're just beating the guy with just pure, like, furious speed, which is, you know, worked well the way Stewart at West Ham for many years. We love that. So, you know, so I'm not knocking that, but I just think that I don't think he's a striker in Ekitike's class, for instance, and I don't think he's a striker in Erling Haaland's class. So I think with Arsenal, it is the collective. It is about the squad. It is about this incredible squad depth. If you think about the injuries they've had at the back, they would have killed a lesser team. I mean, they had injuries comparable to that season where Liverpool lost all of their centre halves. Can you? And it killed Liverpool because they just did not have the strength and depth that Arsenal have got. So it should be their season.
Julian, let me put this to you then. Mikel Merino's had successful stints in that number 9 position. Gabriel Jesus is back after, 10, 11 months out. Kai Havertz still to come back. And, of course, Viktor Gyokeres, who's starting for Arsenal at the moment. Who does start when everyone is fit then?
For me, it depends a lot on the opposition. I think there are games like yesterday where Gyokeres is the perfect guy. And you saw yesterday more service to him when he makes the runs that he's always made. But this Arsenal team has been built for the last 3 years without a traditional number 9. So when you play with Havertz as a 9 or Gabriel Jesus or Merino, it's not the same when you play with Gyokeres as a 9 because he's going to run the channel, he's going to make all those runs and the ball is not going to come because that's not how Arsenal play. However, they're working on this and yesterday there's a great ball from Saliba in the first half into space for Gyokeres. It's a good first touch and then Tarkowski comes and makes a very good tackle. In Portugal, Gyokeres would have scored that for Sporting. This is a better level. The defenders are much better than anything he had faced before in Portugal or in the Championship, even when he played for Coventry. So this is a bit better. But there's games where Merino or Havertz or Gabriel Jesus will be better suited for that kind of game, like against Wolves, for example. I'm not sure Arteta made the right call against Wolves as who to pick as a number 9. I thought yesterday he did. There'll be other games where Havertz will be better for that opposition. And other games where you need that physicality from Gyokeres, the runs from Gyokeres, the fact that he hustles, he presses really well. There's a lot of other things that he does really well than scoring. 7 goals so far at end of December with the injuries that he had, no pre-season. It's probably not a bad return from him.
I'm surprised you didn't go Havertz straight away. I just know I say that because to me, Havertz is the one that he trusts more than anyone, and I think. I know he doesn't. You wouldn't class him as a prolific scorer, but in terms of the football that he plays and the talent that he's got, I would have thought he would be the auto. I think if it gets down to the business end, he'll start the brunt of the games. Havertz.
Maybe.
I think, but
the one thing I do agree with Dom about as well is that this is their moment, and it is so important to take that moment. To that having come back from the finale of the Formula One season, Lando Norris, that was all about, like, this is your moment. This might not come again. Yeah. Max Verstappen, no one is saying that Max Verstappen is an inferior driver to Lando Norris. Everyone knows who the best driver is. So it was about Lando Norris taking that moment, taking what might be, it might not be his only opportunity, but it could be. It could be this is the one season when he can beat Max Verstappen. If you don't take it, it never comes again. That is this season for Arsenal. That is absolutely this season for Arsenal.
But then nobody expected Arsenal to be 10 points clear of anybody else, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Villa, by the end of December either. So the fact that they top, okay, it's only 2 points, but they're still top of the Champions League phase, in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup that will be played next week. It's very good. And that's why I think emotion should not be driven too high and that pressure should not get to them because they are where they should be. Exactly. And again, nobody expected them or wanted them to be or thought they should be 10 points clear of City or Liverpool or somebody else.
They were so good though, weren't they, through early autumn. And when they went at that sequence from when they won at Newcastle all the way through without conceding the goal, I can sort of understand where the fans are coming from because they've got into that mindset. We've got to win every game. We've got to win every game to get it. We just want it done. And the closer when pressure starts to apply, it does funny things to you.
I'm sure, Julian, Mikel Arteta, if someone had offered him 2 points clear at this stage of the 100%. Season, having been to Anfield, having been to Chelsea, having been to Manchester United, having been to Villa Park,
to Newcastle,
and having been to Newcastle, they've taken it.
Absolutely, and the second half of the season they will have to go to the Etihad, of course, for example, and they will have to go to Spurs, who came to the Emirates. So they will be tricky games, plus the Champions League, plus everything else. But I think right now they are where they wanted to be, that's for sure.
The team that is chasing them, of course, is Manchester City. And in the Sunday Telegraph, they go with Guardiola's title warning. Now, this isn't a warning to Arsenal. This is actually a warning to his own team. He says that City's manager says players can forget about winning the Premier League unless they improve on the West Ham United victory. And Paul Hurst in the Sunday Times follows up on that. He says, he quotes Guardiola, "I said to the players, Merry Christmas for everyone, but will not be enough if we don't improve." You got the impression that even though City performed reasonably well, the manager had sensed that some of his players were getting a little carried away with all the title talk after 7 straight wins. Martin, is this some truth behind what Pep is saying, or are the subtle mind games begun maybe?
I mean, look, the mind game stuff, I never pay too much attention. I never pay too much. No, I mean, I'm sorry, Charles. Look, I'd like to play them. Yeah, the mind games are massively important. But I've never really, when everyone talks about Fergie and the mind games and all of that, I always thought, no, it's 11 really good players. That's what's winning the league this year, same as it always does. So they've done the course and distance. That's the advantage that City have got over. That's the one advantage they've got over Arsenal. I can remember, talking with Khaldoon Al Mubarak, who was the chairman of Man City, who said, which I thought was very interesting, that if Aguero doesn't score that goal, he doesn't know when they win the league. Right. He really doesn't know when they win, because again it comes back to that moment, that sort of taking your chance. That he's not sure when that comes around again, and that it was so important that once they won it once, then that gave them the freedom to go out and win it again, and then win it 4 times on the turn, and win it twice on the turn, and all of this. So that's the advantage. And so Guardiola knows exactly when to start saying to the players, it's like a great jockey, when to give the little shake of the reins or whatever that says giddy up. Fergie knew it as well. Alex knew it. You look at so many seasons with Manchester United where in the second part of the season there was suddenly a moment where they went, and he would say to players, he would rest players. Darren Fletcher said that he would rest him. And then he'd say to him, make sure you're ready for Chelsea on January the 21st. Yeah. I'm not playing you the next 2 weeks, but make sure you're ready for January 21st, we're playing Chelsea. And that sort of thing, that sort of management of the season, and of knowing how to win a league. And that's what Man City have got. So rather than mind games, that's what I see that as. I see that as a manager who knows exactly when to say to his players, right, giddy up, here we go.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because Pep Guardiola seems to be at his most animated when they've won, particularly at the end of games. We're seeing it more and more often now, aren't we, when he goes to a certain player and there's... Everyone else would have thought, they've had a good game. And you look at Pep Guardiola, what's he saying?
With Guardiola yesterday.
With Guardiola yesterday. Yeah, it's not by accident, is it?
No, it isn't. It isn't. And if it comes down to it, I know for all the talent that Man City have got in the squad, if they win it, it's because of him. Yeah. It's the manager. The manager will get them over the line this time. And Mikel Arteta will... I think if you go head to head, you're picking Guardiola over Arteta every day of the week. And if he's within 4 or 5 points going into April, then it's on. It will be on. You look at me like it's like...
Right, though. Guardiola is right. He's got from now until April and that final sprint to get them better, because they're still very much a work in progress. Pep Linders has arrived. They changed the philosophy a little bit. Some of the principles, in possession, out of possession, the way they press. There's the Cherki Foden combination. Bernardo Silva. Pep was really unhappy about Bernardo Silva, calling him out, saying call him Bernie because that's the nickname. But not happy with Bernie, who is his favourite player, but not really doing the job that he was supposed to do against a West Ham team. Sorry, Martin. No. Not very good either.
But I'm not in charge of it, mate.
But when chance, for example, in transition, should never happen for Manchester City at the Etihad, in a game that they were controlling so easily. And yet there's still those fragilities at times in the way they play, or the way they're trying to play in this kind of latest evolution, that is not there yet.
So with that in mind, you say work in progress. Are they convincing you? that they...
No, I still think they've got issues, for sure, defensively. I mean, going forward, even if we put aside the reliance on Erling Haaland, that might not be too healthy either. Because if something happens to him, or if suddenly he's not as prolific because it's what he's doing right now, and he gets even lucky on the 2 goals, it's incredible. You don't even need to be that lucky because he's so good, and yet everything comes his way. The balance comes back into his path, into his foot. But let alone the reliance on him. For the rest, Shaki can do better. Foden can do better. Reinders can probably do better. Doku is injured. He's going to come back. I'm still not sure about that full balance in that midfield, but certainly defensively. O'Reilly, Nunes can get better as a unit, as a back five. So there's still a lot more to come. I mean, this for Haaland, come on, please. It's just... So they will get better. But after the Real Madrid game, he also said, this is not good enough for the Champions League. If we play teams like PSG, this is not good enough. They're going to beat us. Again, he repeats it. So he's clearly not happy with some stuff that the team is doing so far.
Yeah. Do you still believe it is a 2-horse race? Is there a challenge coming from anywhere else, Dom?
I don't see why Villa can't stay around it. I really don't. I've been very impressed with what I've seen a lot of them recently. And the manager, like I know, talked about Guardiola, but the work that Emery has done from... I saw them at Sunderland on September the 27th, I think they were, and they were dreadful. And then I saw them in Basel last week, and he'd made 11 changes, and it's like watching two different teams. And he has dragged them there. He's got them working, and they've got momentum. They've got very good players. They can go deep into it. I'm not going to say they're going to win it, but it'd be... I wouldn't discount them too easily with the options that they've got.
They're in the mix, Martin?
Yeah, they're in the mix. I think anyone who's in and around it, no one's 12 points clear or anything like that. So, you know, I look at that, and you look at Liverpool, and you look at Chelsea, and these teams, they're in the mix. They're in the mix. You know, that they've all got to improve. They've all got to improve quite a lot, in fact. And there is another scenario where Arsenal just gradually pull away. You know, that can happen as well. And it looked as if it might happen about a month ago. You're looking at this and thinking they could have this wrapped up.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens, because it's Manchester United at Villa Park on the Super Sunday, followed by away games against Chelsea and Arsenal.